Hi, welcome to our live today. And today's topic is a continuation from yesterday. And yesterday I talked about whether, every marriage is not workable, right? So today I am going to ask you, and I have asked this question to many, many people who have come to work with me. And this question is that if your marriage is not working, then what makes you to stay, right? Most of the time, the answer I get is especially the women, the mothers, they say that they are staying for the sake of kids. And on further questioning, the answer is that no, I feel very bad that if I separate, then the child is not going to um, have that kind of a connection with father the way the child can have when we are staying together. Okay, so that's the reason what makes them to stay in marriage. I will give an example of my friend, and it's a real true story. She had two children, 10 and 12, and from the time children were born, their marriage had started to disintegrate, and she was somehow managing, thinking that until such time that both kids turn adults, I'm going to stay, and after that, I'm going to leave. Okay, so the friction remained, the cold war remained, sometimes the arguments would happen, and back then, when I used to ask her this question, she would say it's only for the sake of kids. And I would ask in that case that, but don't your kids see you fighting all the time? And she was very confidently telling me that no, whenever my kids are sleeping, only then, if we have to talk about something, if we need to discuss something, it's only then. We never fight in front of our kids, so our kids always see us together and not fighting. So I thought, okay, because back then I was not into this kind of coaching, but then I somehow felt that the impact would still be there. When this was when when I was speaking to her children were 10 and 12. A year later, what happened? She was speaking with somebody on phone. Who she was speaking with, her husband did not know, but he overheard her saying that she is not very happy in marriage. When he overheard this, he also knew that there was a lot of friction. So when he overheard this, he just went to her and he said that, look, if it is a scenario where you're telling people outside that you're not happy in marriage and we've been keeping quiet about it, let's separate. So they decided to separate, and then they were sitting with their kids. Now they were 11 and 13, and they announced to their kids that they are going to get separated, and they asked children who they wish to be with. Now what is your guess? Your guess must be that children wanted to go to the mother, but to her surprise, both children said that they wanted to go and stay with their father, not mother. Okay, now here the point is not so much about whether kids went to father or whether kids went to the mother. Here the point is that as parents you might think that you are holding on to yourself. You're not revealing any kind of a friction between you and your partner to kids. You might be thinking that, but kids are having their own processing skills. Their subconscious mind is processing the experience. And what experience are they processing? They are processing the experience of the relationship between you and your partner. Now, as a mother, you might tell your children that your father is a great man. He's a very, very genuine fellow. He's a greatest dad on this earth. You can tell 100 good things about your husband to your children. Similarly, you can be speaking a lot of good things about your wife. You can say that your mother is a very, very kind-hearted woman. It's just that she loses temper here and there, but at an overall level, she's a very, very kind-hearted person, right? But no matter what you tell the kids, what they are going to register is not what they hear from you. What they are going to register is what their experience tells them. So in my friend's case, children could process the subtle tension between their parents, and this is what they were experiencing. And from their experience, they thought that it would be a better, better space, mental space, to be staying with dad, so they chose to go with dad, right? So this is the impact your relationship has on children, and you're the one who's thinking that I can't leave because I want my kids to have both parents. You want your kids to have both parents, but are you doing more harm to them, or are you doing any good to them? And I would want you to ask yourself this question, that is it really for the kids that you want, or somewhere in your heart you know that, when you walk out, it is difficult to survive. I mean, that's what you think. It is not, but you might think that it is difficult to survive. What will people say? What will society say? What will family members say? What will friends say? So in the garb of giving that security and that protection to children, you decide, all right, let me continue to stay. Now, what I want you to tell, I'm not saying you leave, I'm not saying you stay either. I am saying, for you, it is very important that you take a decision on whether you want to stay or you want to leave. If you want to stay, it is very important that you got to work on yourself in ways that it begins to impact children positively, in ways that they do not experience that friction, which means when you start to work on yourself, there is some amount of impact it is going to have on your relationship as well, in your vibrations, in your energies. Okay. And if you want to leave, then also, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, that in case you've decided to leave, then also you got to work on yourself, because ultimately it's all going to impact your children. It's an important decision that you need to make, which is in terms of, should you stay or should you leave? And you might ask yourself this question, is it really worth making those efforts if you want to stay, right? I would say that whether it is worth making those efforts or not, still make those efforts. My dog is getting a little jittery because I have tied him up today. He's being very naughty. You can hear his, wanting to get out of the leash. So, what I am saying is that uh, whether it is worth the effort to work towards marriage or not, I would suggest still work towards it. Tell yourself, I am going to give myself this last chance. Put your wholehearted effort into it. And not that you've not put the efforts until now, you have done it. But then, as I mentioned before, you need to go in the right direction. And this 100-day challenge is one of the ways which is going to take you. Oops, sorry, this is my dog. And this is one of the ways which is going to make you to go in that direction. Okay, so take that decision, and if you need our help, then book that call with us, and I'm going to um, get in touch with you for you to know if you should be staying or you should be leaving. And in case you should be, um, I would say, whether you want to leave or stay, doesn't matter, still give yourself that last chance wholeheartedly. If not for yourself, ideally I would say do it for yourself. But if you can't do it for yourself, do it at least for the sake of your children, because whatever they are experiencing now in terms of the experience, subtle experience they are getting, it is going to impact their friendships in school. It impacts their relationship with their teachers going forward. It impacts their relationship with colleagues, their bosses, if they start their own business, then their teams. And last but not the least, the ultimate impact is going to be on their partners. Okay. And if you also look back in your childhood days, somewhere, you might have seen that in some cases, that the relationship with your parents that you saw, that you witnessed, is to some extent responsible for the relationship you have now. I am not blaming them, because everybody in the given relationship, gives their best. They do whatever best they can. So, your parents also did the best they can. They are not to be blamed for it. But right now, the situation that you are in, and knowing that you have that platform where you can work towards you know first developing a relationship with yourself and then working on the relationship with your partner, it will be worth the effort, believe me. All right, now after that, if you want to leave, that's fine, because then you would have healed, you would have evolved, you would have built such a beautiful relationship with yourself that your children will start to look up to you as their role models. Okay, now that is it from me to you today. And if you have any questions, please do write your questions, do write your experiences. And I am going to be seeing you tomorrow once again at 3:30. Take care. Bye.